Hey there, Facebook. It is Vanessa here, again, your motivational speaker, trainer, and head coach from Live, Love, Give. And today's message is all about the fact that your failures do not define you, they enlighten you. And the reason why I wanted to bring this message to you guys today is that it was just came up in some of the writing that I was doing in terms of, looking at failure, because so many of us have that fear of failure, like we all know. And it keeps us so limited because the way that we look at failure is it means something about the identity of who we are. And ultimately, we attach our identity to our results in life, whether they're successful or unsuccessful. Either way, we tend to identify with them. So if we get great results, we look at ourselves like we're huge successes. And just the same, when we fail at something or something doesn't work out quite as we planned it to, we ultimately think of ourselves as a failure rather than we didn't get the result, the result didn't happen, So that's what I really wanted to talk to you guys about today, because I know how limiting it is when we have the mindset that whatever our results are is who we are. And that's what I wanted to really tap into for you guys today, because ultimately when I look back throughout my life, and I look at all the breakdowns, all the failures, I ultimately know that each and every one of those, if I didn't have them, I wouldn't be where I am today. Every time I fail at something, that what would be deemed a failure by most of us who have that mentality of our failures, meaning something, being our results that mean something about who we are. If I kept that mentality, I wouldn't have left relationships that weren't serving me or the other person. I wouldn't have shifted businesses. I wouldn't have shifted off a career path that was totally unfulfilling, even though I only had a year left in a 5-year course. There's these different things that most of society looks at as and calls failures, and they ultimately attach that name, that role, that failure to the person, instead of looking at the success that is generated when we recognize that a path no longer serves us and we have the courage to get off that path, even though many people might look at us as failures. And I have experienced this multiple times. I've done some stuff that, most people would look at and just be so scared to do because of what other people will think. I have, quit law, even though, that's what I thought I wanted to do. I quit that. I quit it and I didn't know the answers. I didn't even know what I was going to do. I created an online business that nobody around me had any experience with, and everybody around me just thought it was completely crazy. They had no idea what I was doing, and I had to go on that journey of uncertainty. Even as well, I didn't know what I was doing, but I was the one who made that commitment to myself that I don't care what other people think about it. I don't care if other people think I'm a failure for this, because I know so deeply, I have such certainty within myself that this is not right for me. And having the courage to do that has ultimately led me to so many doors opening, so much fulfillment, so much more authenticity and courage and consciousness and connection, and ultimately contribution. And I really think that if I kept that mentality and I was so fearful of being deemed a failure or identifying myself as a failure because a decision that I made didn't quite work out how I originally planned, then I wouldn't be where I am, and I wouldn't be growing to where I'm growing to. And before I keep going on, I want to make sure that I'm checking in with you guys, and if you guys have any questions about this topic, let me know. I want to hear from you guys. And awesome to have you, Anyeta and Roberto and Hassani and Munish and Gabrielle. Nice to have you back. And Stephen, awesome. And Chris and Rana and Brett. And yes, my day is going awesomely well, Stephen. Busy day. Thanks for joining. And Jason, nice to have you. And Phil and Misty, awesome. You caught before bedtime. Love it. And And Dr. Angel, nice to have you. And Rian, you're back. I love it. And Heinz and Tony and Gerard and Paul and Laura and Roy. Awesome, guys. And Chris, if you learn from less positive results, we only gain insight. Don't fail. It's a growing experience. Yes, so very, very true. And that's my message. It's our failures do not define who we are. They definitely enlighten us. Every single failure that we have in life is a learning experience, like I know you guys will have heard a million times before. But when we have that mindset that every time we fail, we trust that we will learn something of value, we become more enlightened. And the worst thing that we do is we judge, condemn, build shame around ourselves because we're judging ourselves right now based on the information that we've actually generated through a failure, and we're judging our past self, expecting our past self to have those answers before we got moving. And it seems crazy when we put it into perspective like that. So it is just a perspective shift and a trust within yourself that you will always learn the lesson. And that is a core belief that I have generated, and that gets me through every single quote unquote fail. I don't even think about failures anymore because I trust that everything is happening for a reason and a purpose that serves me. And I also know I will always learn a lesson. And I know that some of our greatest lessons in life come from painful experiences and uncertainty and unexpected results. So hope that this is resonating with you guys out there. Let me know. And Hassani, this one I need to be constantly reminded of. Yep, even when I think I know this, I'm thinking my thinking somehow slips back to viewing failure as bad. I've been enlightened more and more each and along the way. Yes, I love it, love it, love it. And I'm so grateful that you have that mindset, Hassani, because that is what will get you to ever increasing levels of your potential when you know that you will learn from those experiences. And if you need to reflect back on your life and look at those failures and create a different story around them so that you can make this shift, then that's what you've got to do. So if there is something in your life that you have been feeling really a lot of shame around, maybe you've been identifying yourself as a failure because maybe you had a divorce, maybe a business failed, maybe you didn't get a result that you were after, whatever that failure is that you're still identifying with, I challenge you to readdress it, to shine some light on it and find the value that is ever present. There is always so much value in the failure, the pain, whatever it is. So I challenge you to look at that and start generating a more empowering belief that failure enlightens you. The more you fail, the more lessons you learn, and therefore the more enlightened you become, and therefore you have better chance of being successful in your goals and accomplishments moving forward, and you have better access to higher levels of your consciousness. So there's just no question, like there is so much value in each and every one of those failures. So I love that. Just, results can teach us so many different things, whether they're positive or negative or however you want to deem them. There's always those lessons to be learnt. So thank you for sharing, Hassani. And Ansa and Bassam and Judy, awesome to have you. And Gabrielle, feel you, the reward for your courage. Yes, definitely. I love that. Love that you're on the page there. And PT, nice to have you. And Lauren, thanks for the reminder. Yes, it's important to embrace failure in order to learn. Definitely. Don't be one of these people who stay stuck because they're so fearful of failure that ultimately they fail at life, because they don't get the results that they're after, because they're never challenging themselves to learn the lessons, and they stay stuck in mediocrity, in an unfulfilling experience of life, and, are filled with regret. So, have the courage to step forth and don't be afraid of failure is just ultimately my message. And Manu, nice to have you. And Floyd, awesome. And Andre and Miha and Lauro and Fahana and Suvala and Eric and James, awesome guys. And Nancy, nice to have you. And Romy, buried feelings alive never die. Buried feelings alive never die. They come up when you least expect it. So hard. That's why you have to be... Firstly, thank you for sharing your perspective there and your thoughts there. I love it, Romy. And also, you have to be really intentional. you instead of just waiting for this stuff to like boil back up to the surface and hit us again and we get triggered and get taken over by these fears, you have to be really intentional about going back into your past, doing the work to convert the stories that you've created around the failures, the pain, whatever that negative experience is, and convert it. There is always the other side, never a question. There is always value in each and every experience. So I challenge you to do the work there. And I know you're somebody who will, Romy. I appreciate you joining. And Chris, nice to have you. And Jelma and Misty, no pain, no gain. Yes, cheesy, but it revolves around all aspects. I definitely agree with you, Misty. I am a big believer in, that pain, those painful experiences have just so much gold if we have the courage to face them rather than shy away from them. So I love that you're talking into that, Misty. It's awesome. And Bonnie, nice to have you. And Slow-Mo and Romy, small shift. How do you find it? So let me know exactly what you mean there. So the small shift, how do I find it? So I'm going to assume that what you're talking about, and let me know if I'm wrong here, just in the comments here, but I'm going to assume that you mean, how do I find what those past experiences are that I'm identifying with and allowing to hold myself back? And ultimately, sometimes it just takes experience. Sometimes we have to get triggered to build the level of consciousness around what's holding us up. And we just have to build that consciousness around, what's triggering me here, or what do I feel, or questioning ourselves, quality questions to ourselves. That's why journaling is so powerful. Ask yourself, just create some space and time for yourself to sit with your own thoughts and ask yourself, what would I ideally want? Sometimes when we dream big, all of that scary stuff that we've got going on in our subconscious comes to the surface, and we start that's where we start tapping into those feelings of fear and recognizing and being able to pinpoint, where that's come from, what that fear is, and that shines light on the work that we have to do. So I hope that made sense. I hope that I got your question right there, Romy. Let me know. Hope it resonated. And Chris, core beliefs, yes, you're so in tune. I love it. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. So much respect and gratitude right back at you, Chris. I really appreciate you being here and your kind words. And Muritesh, nice to have you. And Hassani, yes, thank you. I think the end of each month calls for looking back on failures, and reflecting on what I've learned. By the end of the year, this list will be very powerful to look back on. That is so awesome, Hassani, and I'd love to hear your experience with that. That's such a great strategy. Something that I used to do is, and I think, it's a great process, is to each and every day, at the end of the day, write down a lesson learned. What is one thing you learned today that will help to, and the power of it is you write down that one thing that you learned that day, and then at pivotal moments, say at the end of each month when you're doing this work, Hassani, then you can reflect back on the past month. Just flip back. What were the lessons? And remind yourself of all the value in each and every day. So I absolutely love you sharing your experience and your challenge to yourself. That's so cool. And Josu, nice to have you. And John, awesome, Erica. It's so good to see your face back. I haven't seen you in a while. And Tahia and Julie and Matt, you're so welcome. And Alan, nice to have you. Awesome to see you. And Darko, nice to have you. Thank you so much for sharing, Alan. I really appreciate when you guys share. Many of you have been writing to me and asking if you can share. My answer is definitely. I absolutely love so much. It's such a great gift for you guys to give me when you can expand my reach to other people. So definitely, I love that. Thank you so much, Alan. And Patel, nice to have you. And Muritesh, how to bounce back from our challenges and problems. Yeah, find the lessons, definitely. It's always going to be my answer. Find the lesson in every challenge. That will be your springboard back into your empowerment. So definitely hope that answers it for you. Hope that resonates, Muritesh. Thank you for the question. And Chris, we did that in the army. Builds resiliency. I love that, Chris. I'd love to learn more. I'm really fascinated with hearing hearing about people's experiences in the army, particularly around team creation. So I'd love to pick your brains on that. That's awesome, Chris. Thank you. And yeah, you're so welcome, Ellen. And Hassani, Daily Reflections, love it. You're welcome, Hassani. And Anantha, nice to have you. Thanks, Ellen. And Rajesh, awesome. I'm grateful to hear that this is enriching for you. And Anantha, every uphill needs a downhill to climb up. Exactly. We've got to have the contrast in life. You know, a funny example of that contrast for me right now is I've had a great friend come and visit me for the last week or so. And I've just, you know, usually I'm really not strict, but I'm very clear on how to, you know, fuel my body energetically and getting to the gym and just doing all great stuff so I can feel energetic and vibrant. And because my friend's been over, I've kind of just let the reins go and, you know, had a lot of drinks and different foods and stuff. And yeah, you know, it's given me so much contrast, and I've just been out this morning making bone broths, getting healthy stuff for juices and green smoothies and all sorts of awesome stuff, and I can't wait to start that tomorrow. So definitely there is so much contrast can bring to our lives, and that is so true when we look at our results in life. It is the failures that allow for the successes. Definitely that in terms of the lessons learned, and also the feelings, you know, giving the feelings that we generate in our life contrast so that we can appreciate, you know, the ups, the downs, and recognize how they are all working in conjunction for our success and reaching higher levels of our potential. So guys, I really hope that today's message has served you. I hope it's got you thinking about disidentifying from your failures. You know, your results are not who you are. So, you know, and when we identify with those results, that's ultimately what keeps us limited in mediocrity and prevents us from moving forward in the direction of our dreams, our goals, our desires, and ultimately the life that we were born for. So I hope that that's resonated. And I've just got another quick question here from Matt. I won't skip over. Magda, when will you talk about your exercise and nutrition? You know what, Magda? I did say I'd do it a couple of days ago, so I'm going to do it for you guys tomorrow. What better day than to do it tomorrow? I might even be able to show you guys exactly, you know, like what I've been, you know, my bone broths, my juices, my green smoothies, all of that stuff. I think it would be really, really valuable. And thank you so much, Magda, for bringing that up, because I really appreciate you guys letting me know what you find interesting, what will add value to you. And if you want me to take that angle, that's a huge part of my life. Is definitely, I'm all about energy generation, you know, and whether we look at that from the mindset and also the physical elements, like that is so powerful for living a rich, fulfilling life. So thank you, Magda. I'll do that for you guys tomorrow. So I'll touch on a model that I use in terms of tapping into your nutrition, exercise, sleep, and managing stress for ultimate energy. And yeah, definitely, I can't wait to do that for you. Thank you, Magda. And Matt, I'm about to jump back into competing, into combat sports. Awesome. After a loss, and it's frightening, but I'm looking to get a loss back. Thanks for your videos. You're so welcome, Matt. And that's awesome. I'm so grateful to hear that you're ready to jump back on that horse. And, you know, it is challenging. I'm not here to say that it's not, you know, when we've had that experience of pain and failure, you know, it's hard sometimes to get back on the horse. So I really honor you for that, Matt. That's so courageous and awesome. And I'd love to hear how you go getting back into it. And yeah, the sooner we disidentify from our results, we don't make our results mean something about who we are at our core, and instead we shift our perspective. I don't even think about that anymore. Where my mind always goes is, what's a lesson? What can I learn in each and every moment? And if you start that strategy of a daily journaling practice around one lesson learned at the end of your day, you'll start training your brain to find the lessons. And that is where you can make extreme progress in terms of shifting that mindset, so you're no longer afraid to fail, because you trust and know that you will learn incredible lessons that you'll bring with you into your future results and fulfillment. So Awesome, guys. That's so grateful to, that's so awesome, Chris. I'm grateful that these are meaningful to you. And George, nice to have you. And also Sharat, I've just finished. So I hope you guys catch the recording, and I really hope you gain some value from today's message. I appreciate each and every one of you so much. Like I always say, you light up my days, and I just love getting to meet you, connect with you, engage with you, hopefully add some value to you. And if you haven't already, make sure you book in a 15-minute power session with me. I'd love to meet each and every one of you. I won't eat you, sorry. I'd love to meet each and every one of you and see where you're at, and see if I could help in any particular way in terms of shifting your perspective and breaking through to the next level of your potential in life, in love, in health, wherever it is. I'd love to have that opportunity. So definitely book that in. And guys, I will see you all tomorrow. I'm off for a brilliant day in the city, last day with my friend here, and we're going to go to the comedy club. We're going to go have some fun, and I can't wait to bring that message to you guys tomorrow, all talking around, generating massive loads of energy and vibrancy through talking into nutrition and exercise, sleep and stress management. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow, and thank you so much. Much love to you, so much gratitude, and see you guys tomorrow.